Welcome back, everyone, to the Chambers Radio Hour. This is Ed Dwyer, Dwyer Advisory, here with Scott Maynard from the Chamber. And boy, I tell you, Scott, just again, a wonderful each month that we get to highlight Chamber members. Viv Hellwig with Vested Metals has been a longtime Chamber member. Really just a star in the community, frankly, with what he does at Flagler College and with his foundation. So an established business now and just, making a real difference for St. Johns County. And then hearing from, a new member, with someone who's just come to town and involved with making dreams come true. And so, it's a great compliment. That's a new Chamber member. So for you listening out there, if you're involved in business and you wonder, what does the Chamber do for me? Well, take those two stories and you'll find that there's something that does really resonate. And so with that, we're just going to, Scott, talk about what's happening coming up as we're into June now, and just what are the events going on. Typically, you get into the summer, maybe things slow down a little bit, but not so fast. There are some things happening. We obviously had all what was going on in Tallahassee with the budget. We had Bob Porter on our last show. So what's happening this month, Scott?
And we're still waiting to see what's going to happen.
And we're still waiting on Tallahassee. That's right.
As we roll into June is always Hurricane Preparedness Month.
Yes.
And
unfortunately,
I always kid, and I always post on Facebook every year for the past, I don't know how long Facebook has been around, but let's say 20 years. The Weather Channel every year, without exception, puts out a story that says, this is going to be a higher than average hurricane season this year. And I keep thinking at some point there's going to be a below average hurricane season, but that doesn't ever seem to take place.
No, fortunately, you've had a couple of years it was pretty quiet. Yeah. But yeah, it's like weather people. They always have to, throw it as much out there. And if they're wrong, then they're wrong on the high side.
That's right. But besides that, we do need to be prepared, and we have had a number of storms come through. Fortunately, not a direct hit, but it still has caused significant impacts to us just in the last 4 years. And one of the things that every time a storm comes through, we always see is that there are businesses that were not prepared. We get a lot of information about how we should prepare our houses, should prepare for our families, our emergency kit. But there is also emergency kit for business, and it's something that you really need to pause and think about, am I really prepared? And the way I always try to explain that is, if the hurricane hit today, could you operate your business if you lost power, if you lost your physical structure, your building, if you lost the files that you had? What plans do you have in place for that business continuity to move forward and to grow?
Well, think about just all the employees. They have to be prepared, right? Because you need your employees to come to work, but if they're compromised. So yeah, it's far reaching.
It is, and employees is a great example, and one that is so important that a lot of people overlook. You need to have an emergency contact number for every employee, and every employee needs your emergency contact number, and then you need an emergency contact number for somebody that doesn't live here, that lives out of state somewhere. So if there is a disaster, everybody gets scattered. There's at least one point of contact that everyone can reach out to get information. Because, who knows if cell service is down, if there is no power, and you want to be able to check in with all of your employees, and you want to be able to provide them with information about when to come back, what's happening, and it goes along with that business continuity as well. How are you going to operate your business if something happens? Do you have all of your financial information backed up in the cloud somewhere? Do you have your customer contact information backed up in the cloud? All of those things to think about. And then emergency preparedness, just if you have a brick and mortar, the small things. It's interesting. A lot of the old established businesses, if you go downtown or if you go across the Bridge of Lines, you can learn a lot from those individuals that have been here a number of years, and just walk in the door and say, hey, how do you prepare? They have a plan for exactly how they do things, how they set up, how they block the water from coming in, how they take care of raising their tables, raising their equipment, making sure everything is safe and secure. And you can learn from those. The County Emergency Operations Center puts out a great guide, a hurricane preparedness guide that is on the EOC website that you have access to as well. But look at all of those things and make sure that you have that communication plan in place, you have that business continuity plan in place, and you have that emergency preparedness plan in place. And then the final thing is post-storm.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get back up as quickly as possible?
Well, that is something, too, where I know the Chamber, you look at your website, you actually have, hurricane preparedness and so forth. It's kind of part of one of your core mission, being here, being a coastal town. But there's so much after the fact, like you're saying, and some of that sometimes comes with funding mechanisms, and the Chamber, I know, helps facilitate that process.
Yep. We are fortunate, and I am fortunate to be the representative for Emergency Service Function 18, which basically means if there is a storm, we have representatives from the Chamber that are in the Emergency Operations Center representing business. So, small things like seeing what businesses are still open or when the businesses open back up. It's important when after a storm event for a Home Depot or a Lowe's, how quickly can they get back open, because people need them open to take care of business. Publix Pharmacy, Walgreens, CVS, how quickly are they open to get that? The hospitals, how are they supplying, and just getting the word out. So in the event of a storm, our website, the Chamber website, really converts into a emergency operations website. We are constantly putting information out, constantly putting contact information out, so everyone can see and know what to expect. So just put that out there. We're going to cross our fingers that we don't have to do any of that this year, but
Better to be prepared.
Better to be prepared,
right,
and start thinking about that. And then other upcoming events, man.
Yeah.
You mentioned summer, and I know I have a son that's a teacher, and I know all the kids in our neighborhood are antsy to get out of school, and that's coming up. But the Chamber is still going to be rolling on with activities. June 11th, we've got a Chamber After Hours and ribbon cutting at Sunkissed Lemon Society. That's going to be a big event. And then the next week after that, we're hosting a rather new event. It's a Chamber After Hours at Bartram Point, but we have a large number of organizations that have gone in together to host this event, and it is going to be fantastic. So we've got Decca Lash, we've got the Game Over Escape Room, the Pour DY Candle Studio, the Fleur de Lis Boutique, the Pink Parlor Ice Cream, True Rest Float Spa, Vital Stretch, Yoga 6, New Beauty Aesthetics, Valhalla Esports, and we're going to have the Moontide Bar Cart, which is a new business in the county as well. We'll also be there serving beverages for everybody. Food's going to be provided by Gray's Craze as well, so that is going to be a huge event, and we are looking forward to that. That will also be a big event for individuals can come and learn more about the Chamber and see how the activities and events like an after hours bring people together to network and help you grow your business. So we're excited about that. Right on the heels of that, on Friday the 13th, the Historic St. Augustine Area Council is going to have an update on the Black History Museum as well as Juneteenth history and some information on the new Fort Mose exhibit that opened up a few weeks ago. That is going to be exciting as well. And then once the legislature finally adjourns, we are going to have our EDC breakfast and legislative updates.
So that's still TBD.
TBD,
All
but
right.
it should be one for the record books with everything that's gone on.
Well, good stuff. Well, Scott, it's always great to be here representing the Chamber, Dwyer Advisory. Give me a call at 513-543-3288 or ed@dwyeradvisory.com. As a career banker and business owner, board members for nonprofits, I help businesses, advocate for businesses like the Chamber does. If you're just want somebody to come in with a fresh set of eyes into your business, look at your financial situation, I know a lot of people in town. If you need a new CPA, new banker, so look for Ed Dwyer, Dwyer Advisory. And with that, we will call it a wrap. Have a great day, and we'll be back to you the first Saturday in July on July 5th. Thanks, everyone.